One of the biggest asks for a very, very long time has been a rework with helicopter game modes. We have only ever had helicopter PvE. Yes, we had a helicopter PvP mode back in the day, but that was very, one-sided. And for as long as most players have been around, it's been PvE, or the helicopter player versus enemy mode, which just kind of sucks. You don't get a lot of RP. You can get a lot of SL, but you don't get a lot of RP. And it kind of just is pointless, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's very easy to find players playing a premium COF 50 going up against late Huey models that are stock. That just isn't really fun for anyone, and the AI is either openly busted, very good, or just not worth your time because the matches can last for a very long period. Now, the biggest thing I have seen for new game mode for helicopters has been the introduction of helicopters into simulator battles. And I'm not necessarily against that. I do think it would be, fairly nice to see. I do think it might be a little too easy for something like a Z19 or a Z10 to maybe camp a airfield or post-airfield with the TY-90 air-to-air missile, or, an AH-1 Zulu with the AIM-9M. But I think with modern SAM systems that can be, neglected pretty well. And I think they won't be very, vulnerable to aircraft, because it's actually really hard to see a helicopter in flight in simulator mode. It's hard enough in ground derby, but trying that in sim just does not sound like a lot of fun to me. I personally would like to rather see helicopters introduced into either air RB or introduced to a new game mode, rather it be a enduring confrontation mode, or possibly some form of other game mode, and Gaijin obviously can pick and choose, or just do it all. There's no reason why they have to be so hesitant to add things for helicopters, because really, nowadays, the issue is what are players going to do? They're either going to have to use tanks to grind helicopters, which is effective, but then you're not getting any research towards your tanks. And what pisses me off the most about helicopters is the fact that Gaijin will let you unlock helicopters with a rank 5 tank or a rank 5 aircraft. But they'll only let you research a rank 5 or a helicopter with either a rank 5 AA or a rank 5 tank, but not a rank 5 aircraft. And that is an issue to me personally. Now, I do think the player base has asked enough for a new helicopter game mode that Gaijin needs to listen at some point. The biggest complaint within War Thunder, minus the research cost and the SL cost, is the lack of new game modes. And Gaijin has seen so much success with game modes that introduce helicopters with aircraft. We saw this during the the SAM test that they had, I want to say it was probably about a year now, where they tested S-75 missile systems against things like the F-4 and the AH-1F, and the enemy team had the MiG-21 to protect it via very Vietnam style of mission, and I only ever heard good things coming out of that. So it's not like players, we haven't seen it before and players don't like it. Players have liked it. They've also loved other game modes like Bullet Hell, which has been rerun now twice. So Gaijin clearly needs to figure something out to either introduce helicopters to a game mode that's already existing like Air RB or Air Sim, or they need to make a new game mode, which, guess what? That is probably the biggest ask I see in the War Thunder community, is new game modes and fixes to the tech tree. Which, honestly, I can't really not agree with. I personally agree with all of that. I think helicopters not having a standalone game mode that's as effective as Air RB or Ground RB is kind of just criminal. Yes, it's much harder to introduce a standalone game mode for a minority thing played like helicopters, but Gaijin can do it, I think they should do it, and they really need to do it. Helicopters are not just a minor thing in game anymore, they're pretty major in my opinion. I know the numbers might not necessarily show that they are the most played, but Gaijin needs to have a much more well-rounded game, in my opinion, and this is another thing that can just give them more depth. Remember, Gaijin needs to, stop trying to put War Thunder as a, a game that competes with these other ones like Arma 3 and DCS. They need to make it the game. So anything that gives the game more depth is going to be massively appreciated within the War Thunder community. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys want to see for a helicopters game mode that has aircraft, a mixed battles mode, or just a reintroduction for helicopter game modes in general? Let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys are not already subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. We're getting pretty close, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Also, if you're interested, there's a Discord that's linked down below in the description. We're trying to get back to 1,000 members there, and I would really appreciate the help and support. Anyways, hope you guys have had a hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.